Hi, Michael. This is Dave Jones. This is my story information for your Critique-a-nar. It was the day before Thanksgiving, 1967. I was 7 years old. My family and I were at my house, and it was not going to be a good Thanksgiving. My dad had been laid off from the steel mill for many weeks, and there was no money for a Thanksgiving dinner. Mom and Dad had been arguing earlier in the evening about bills to pay and money that wasn't around. Then there was a knock at the door. My mom went to the door, and back in 1967, there were delivery trucks that brought food deliveries. There was a young man at the door from a local market, and he said, "I have delivery." My mom assured him that we had not ordered anything, and he said, "No, this is the right address." My dad came to the door and grabbed the bill out of the gentleman's hand, looked at it, and it said "paid in full." My dad looked at my mom, and she looked at him, and my dad said, pushing the bill back in the young man's face, "The Joneses don't accept charity. Take it back." After a moment or two of silence, the young man began to step away, but my mom said, "Wait a minute." She spoke to my dad and she said, "Bob, we don't have the money for food. Maybe just this one time we can accept this, and we'll find out who it was that paid for these groceries, and we'll pay them back." My dad thought for a moment, and he said, "Okay, just this once." We accepted the food, and the next day Mom made a wonderful feast: turkey and mashed potatoes and vegetables, and there was pumpkin pie, and it was amazing. Over the years since that time, my parents tried desperately to find out who it was that had paid for the groceries. Sadly, they never did find out. Or maybe not so sadly. My dad died in 1982, and we never found out before Dad died who it was. But that was okay. In the fall of 1982, I was listening to the local newscast when the broadcaster read a letter from a lady. He said, "I received a letter from a widow in Washington, Pennsylvania today. In it, she put $100, and she recounted the story of how someone had came to their house one evening and delivered groceries when they had no money for groceries, and it made their Thanksgiving. She told me to take the $100 bills," the broadcaster said, "and find someone who needed groceries." It was at that point the broadcaster turned to the television audience and said, "I'm challenging you to send me $1, send me $5, send me $10, and we'll make sure it gets to families that need groceries." That Thanksgiving, they raised thousands and thousands of dollars through this program to help families in need. I later found out that it was my mom that sent the letter, as you might have guessed. But here's the aftermath of what happened. That program, started by that television station, still exists to this day. They've raised millions and millions of dollars to help local families get the groceries they need, especially during the holidays. It's challenging sometimes to accept charity. None of us like charity. We like a hand up, as the saying goes, but we don't want a hand out. So I would challenge those who say, "I'm not looking for charity," to say, maybe it's just okay to accept a hand up, so that someday you can provide that extended hand that'll help someone else out. I think it's a good idea. How about you?